It's been a little while since I last made a video, and actually that's more due to the fact that I haven't edited some video that I've taken already. But so the car has had a few changes. Those that have been kind of following will recall that the battery died due to the way the Pontiac kind of has the lights set up on the inside, so it's just sitting there running all day long. But it turns out the battery was fine, it just happened to be drained that one time. But the important news is the loss of about, I'm going to say, probably a total of about 100 pounds or so. I removed, the subwoofer, all the carpeting, the jute padding, that stuff's pretty hefty. The front seat over there is quite a bit of weight. And the rear seats are not a whole ton of weight, but the back bench, the fold down, is actually fairly weighty. But all told, not looking at a whole lot of weight loss, but it's still some amount. I had to put the stock seat back in so that way it'd be drivable. But the engine does start. I actually don't really want to start it right now, because we haven't been able to run it for very long, so any amount of energy that we expend starting the car is going to not be recharged probably, so that's a recipe for a dead battery. So there's, as you can see, no carpeting, no back seats. The seat belts I had to take out to get the carpeting out, and there's a very good reason that I removed the carpeting. It's not just for weight loss. And actually, I don't think I parked very well today, or yesterday, so yeah. So that door doesn't really open, but you know what? It doesn't matter if it hits the wall because it's going to be repainted. The important and very worrying stuff is right here. All this kind of nasty stuff here. Really, what it implies is that the car has had a lot of water build up in this area for a long time. There's a lot of rust. And the problem is not just relegated to this small little area, which is where it was soaked before, but it goes all the way back there and all the way up front. Very humbling bit of discovery there, pulling out the trunk carpeting. I neglected to I neglected to get the sorry, at a loss for words here. The weight of the jute padding, because that stuff was pretty hefty. It wasn't necessary to take two people to get it out, but it really helped to have two people because it's pretty hefty, and trying to fold it down so that way, you know, it would come out of the hatch, because we've actually just pulled it out of the hatch. Now, if you're watching this video and you know you're like, oh, it's clearly your T-tops, it's not the T-tops. We've actually gone, and yesterday we took water with the T-tops out, so that way there's the easiest way for the water to get in, and just soaked this whole area. That whole area there with water. And GM did an okay job. They actually have the water piped down to really bad places to empty, but they do empty. And the T-tops in general, they fit really, they go all the way over the metal. So they really don't tend to let any, they don't have any airspace there at all almost. But, so the lucky thing is that side, the driver's side, doesn't seem to get almost any water at all, actually. The other side is perfectly dry. This side is really, really wet indeed. And when we pulled out the trunk, or the carpeting, good gosh, it was nasty. It was absolutely appalling. So the next question is determine the course of action, because I'm completely clueless. You know, obviously the next course of action should be to find the leak, and you know, but if it's a very large extended leak, and I don't know where the leak might be, because we've already tried the T-top seals, which is, you know, what everybody is complaining about. And I hear the 4th generation T-tops are fine. The 3rd generation ones were the really bad ones. So you didn't want a 3rd generation F-body with T-tops. But this car seems fine. So there's a few candidates, obviously, is not really down at the bottom, because, well, not really down here at the bottom, because that's not a very easy place for water to pool up. The place that that people say is right in here, right along in there. They say the water pools up in here and then it starts overflowing through the seals inside, which would make sense, but the sheer quantity of the water in here is really worrying. I'm wondering if there has to be someplace else that the water's coming in, I think, anyway. So, it's a somber moment, but it was good to start the V8 up yesterday and take her on a drive around the block, because she's not registered, licensed, or anything, but, you know, we're in our neighborhood, and, you know, it's like, she traveled a total, I think, like doing 2 laps of the neighborhood at half a mile an hour, just idling around in first gear. It's like, whatever. So, that's the update on the car. The engine's still perfect, but the interior does still need some work. So, more and more work, but I thought I'd take a quick log. Be blessed. Today's a Saturday.